Ko te wakahuia he kai kawe kōrero, he kai hāpai mā tauranga, he kaitiaki taonga. Mau ana ko te tapu o ngā taonga tuku iho, ko tā te wakahuia he hono i te hā o tua whakarere ki ngā pātaka mā tauranga o te wā. E putai he kōrero ki te whai ao, ki te ao mārama. A tēnā, kia whai tātou i te māramatanga i roto i ēnei taonga.
Tēnā koutou tamariki mā, nau mai ki tēnei hōtaka o Raranga Matihiko. Ko Sam Henare tōku ingoa, ko Jesse Roberson tēnei, and we both work at Te Papatonga Rewa here in Te Whanganui Atara.
And together with our friends at Waitangi Treaty Ground, Te Pito Whenua, Waikato Museum, Te Whare Taonga o Waikato, and MTG Hawke's Bay, Tai Ahuriri, we've got some awesome activities for you to do at your kāinga all around kaitiakitanga. So Sam, what does it mean to be a kaitiaki?
So to be a kaitiaki means that we have a responsibility to look after and to care for things which are precious. So our job as kaitiaki who work in a museum is to look after the taonga which are kept here. Another part of our job as kaitiaki who work in a museum is to help to support you to look after taonga as well. So Jesse, what are taonga?
Well, taonga are things that are special, precious and important to us. Things like our stories and our words, special places, unique environments, even the people around us. These are all things that we want to care for and look after. So I'm excited. What are we going to be doing?
Well, in this series, we're going to be using digital tools to explore the relationship which we have with taonga for the present and into the future. Nō reira, hea ha te taki mo te rānei.
Well, today's kaupapa is Te Aki Whenua. And to explore this, we're going to be heading downstairs here at Te Papa to Scott, who's going to be showing us our unique environment and what we can learn from it. Then we're going to head back to the lab where Alicia's going to be using Scratch to code some messages about caring for our environment. Sound good?
Ka pai.
Awesome. Let's head down to Scott.
Thanks, Jesse and Sam. The Whenua, or land of New Zealand, has been isolated and cut off for more than 50 million years. So the life that has evolved here is often found nowhere else in the world. Things like kiwi, kia, kakapo, whio, weta, tuatara, these things are endemic to New Zealand, which means they're only found here. But it's not just our animals. Many of our plants are also found nowhere else in the world. Tōtara, kauri, pohutakawa, rata, kōwhai, all of these plants are found here in New Zealand and nowhere else in the world. But there's one plant that we have that's more famous here in Aotearoa and around the world than any of our other plants. Can you think what plant I'm talking about? That's right, it's the silver fern. Many of our national sports teams wear it proudly on their uniforms. New Zealand businesses and corporations and organisations use it in their logos. The New Zealand Army, the police have the silver fern in their logo. It's clearly an important symbol of identity in New Zealand. The silver fern, or ponga, is a tree fern, and New Zealand is home to quite a few species of endemic tree ferns. But the feature that really makes the silver fern stand out is the colour on the underside of its leaves. It's got this really bright white, almost silver colour on the underside of its fronds. Tree ferns are different to other plants in that they don't have seeds, they don't have flowers, and they don't need to be pollinated. But what they do is spores. You can see a spore on the bottom of a fern frond. It's a little brown dot, which is not actually the spore, it's the spore capsule. On a silver fern, each one of those brown dots holds 64 spores, which each one can grow a new silver fern. In its lifetime, one silver fern, or ponga, can produce billions and billions of spores. But these spores are so tiny that we don't even notice them. To give you an idea of how big a spore can be, imagine a centimetre, divide that by 10, so you've now got a millimetre, divide that by 10 again, and then halve that tiny size, and that's how big one spore is. So even though there could be millions of them in the air right now, you'd never know. The silver colour of the bottom of the fern leaf, it can be used to mark tracks when tramping in the bush. Trampers will often leave the silver fern fronds on the ground, silver side up, so they can mark the track and they can follow the same track they've come to get home again. So in a way, the silver fern can be a kaitiaki for us, help us not get lost in the forest. To help me figure out which tree fern I'm looking at, I've made this really handy little identification flowchart, which helps me think a bit like a computer to identify different tree ferns around in the forest. We're going to head back upstairs now to Sam and Jessie, and they're going to teach us a bit more about how computers think and see if we can use computers to help us be kaitiaki.
Wow, wasn't it really interesting to see how people could use these ferns and flip them over so that they could find their way back?
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like the trampers were coding their way home. Am I going the right way? Green means no, silver means yes.
Wow, that's really interesting. So we're going to head over now to Alicia in the Learning Lab, who's by using a digital tool called Scratch is going to show us how we can be kaitiaki of our whenua. Let's go.
Kia ora, Sam.
Kia ora, Alicia. Kei te pihi a koe.
Kei te pai aho. Now, I've just been looking at this little chart that Scott made us about identifying our tree ferns, and I thought that we could use the same kind of language of yes and no, 0 and 1, binary, on, off, to create our own flowchart about being kaitiaki for our whenua.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Now, a problem that I often have is I don't know which bin to put my recycling and my rubbish into once I finish my morning tea.
Yes, I have this problem as well.
Good. So the first thing I need to ask myself was I eating it? Was it made of something organic? Was it a banana, an orange, a carrot, an apple? That kind of thing.
Cool.
So I'm going to start off with, was I eating it? And I'm going to get two answers. So again, our yes and no, on and off, our binary. If I was eating it, it probably belongs in the organic or the compost bin. If I wasn't eating it, then the answer will be no.
Mm-hmm.
Then I can ask myself the next question. Did it have wrapping? So wrapping could be things like my chippy packet, Glad wrap, tin foil, anything like that. If it was wrapped up, it probably belongs in the landfill. If the answer is no, I can then ask, did it come in a container? If the answer is yes, then it probably belongs in the recycling bin. And if the answer was no, then again it probably belongs in the landfill. So I can take the language of coding and the language of the flowchart and turn it into something that's useful for me.
Yeah, that looks way easier as well to help to know which bin to put my rubbish in.
Absolutely. So you guys can have a go at home creating your own flowcharts about something that you might need help with. So now that we've finished creating our flowchart about how we can help be kaitiaki of our whenua, we're going to move on to something really exciting now, which is Scratch.
Great.
So I'm just going to pop this away. Awesome. We're going to be using a tool called Scratch, which is a block-based coding website where you can create your own little projects. They could be animations, quizzes, digital stories, games. You're really limited to just your imagination.
Cool.
Perfect. So I'm going to pull that up for us today. The first thing I'm going to do is type into Google Scratch. And I'm going to click on Scratch down here. Now it's really important for those of you that are following along at home that you have your own login for Scratch. Now this is so that you can save your awesome mahi. So I'm going to click on Sign In and click Sign In. So what we have done is we've remixed some projects for you so that they're all ready to go and you can use them as a guide.
Cool.
Now what you can do is you can access our website at home where the link will be there and you can click directly through, or if you're like me and you want to type it into the address bar, just type this link down below into the address bar and you should hopefully go to the project.
Nice and easy.
Awesome. Now you can see that we have a beautiful background and we have some sprites, which we'll have a look at in a second. What I want to do is press the remix button, this green one here.
Okay, that sounds exciting.
Yep. And it means that it will create my own copy of the project. So I'm not editing and playing with the one that's been created for everybody else.
Yes, cool.
Cool. And you will see that the project is saved as a remix. Now here is our title, the Whenua project. And I'm just going to put my name instead of remix so that I know it belongs to me.
Cool.
Cool. Now you will notice that we have two sprites here, these two highlighted in the blue box.
Yep.
And we have one backdrop.
Cool.
Awesome. Now what we're going to do is code a conversation between these ferns about being kaitiaki of our whenua.
Okay, that's a cool idea.
So what I need to do first is make sure that I bring in a event block. So I'm going to drag this one here because I want my project to start when the green flag is clicked.
Cool, yep, makes sense.
So I'm going to add the when start is clicked, and then I'm going to add something from the looks. Now this might be a little bit confusing because you wouldn't think that your looks would change if you were going to say something. But that's kind of how Scratch works because you're actually reading what's on the screen.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to say something. Now, I want to say something about looking after our whenua and being kaitiaki. Could you help me out with thinking of something to say?
Yeah, sure. So why don't we say something like, today we have learning about how to be kaitiaki of the whenua.
Today we have been learning about how to be kaitiaki of our whenua. Awesome. Cool. All right, so it's going to say that for 2 seconds now.
Okay.
Now, what we would like to establish is a conversation between both of the ferns. So we have this little fern here, and we have this big fern here.
Yeah.
Okay, so at the moment, the little fern is speaking to us and to the big fern, but we'd like the big fern to reply.
Okay.
Cool. Now, I'm also going to bring out the same event block so that both of them are starting at the same time using the same instruction or the same code.
Cool.
Cool. Now, I'm going to also get it to say something. So I want to find that same purple block. Now, a little thing to mention here is that all the blocks on the side are coloured and they're colour-coded. So that helps us kind of understand what blocks do what, and if we're looking for them, we're having a little bit of trouble reading them and figuring out, we can use the colours to help us as well.
Okay, cool.
Now, what do you think this big fern might say in response to it?
Well, maybe he'll say that ferns are special to New Zealand.
Perfect. I heard that ferns are special to New Zealand. Great, awesome, good thought.
Cool.
Should we play it and see how that works?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Awesome. Okay, do you remember how to make it start again?
Green flag for
Green flag.
go, yes.
Absolutely. All right, let's give it a whirl.
Oh my goodness.
Did you read that?
I didn't have a clue what just happened there.
So what I think I did wrong was that I didn't change the timing.
Ah, yes.
So the text is quite long to read and it takes me more than 2 seconds.
Yes.
So now I need to go back and debug and figure it out.
Ah, cool. Okay.
Now debugging is when we go back and we fix the mistakes that we may have created in the code and see where we went wrong.
Cool.
Awesome. So I'm going to change the first fern talking and I might change it to 6 seconds.
Cool.
I'm going to do the same for the second one. All right, let's give it another go.
I heard that ferns are special to New Zealand. Today we have been learning about how to be kaitiaki of our...
Oh no, what happened there?
Well, it seemed to me that they both spoke at the same time and then I ran out of time to read it all.
Yeah, I think I did something wrong in my code. Now, both of them talked and they talked for 6 seconds and we could read them each, which was really, really good. But normally when you have a conversation, one person will talk and then the other person will reply.
Yes.
At the moment, I've got both of my ferns talking at the same time and talking over the top of each other.
Yes.
So I think I probably need to add in something that's going to make one of them pause for a little bit.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
is there a pause button or a pause?
I think in control, there's actually a wait block.
Ah, yeah. Cool.
Now I want to make sure that I've clicked on the correct fern. So at the moment, if I dragged this wait block in, it would be attached to the little fern. But the little fern is actually the first one to talk, so we want to make sure that that fern goes straight away.
Yeah.
So I need to make sure that I click on the second fern. Cool. And then I pull these two apart. I drag in my orange control block of wait. And then I add in a wait. Now the other fern was talking for how many seconds again?
For 6 seconds, the other one.
6 seconds. So I might get it to wait 6 seconds
Yep.
and see if that works.
Cool.
Cool. And then I connect this one back up. Now I need to make sure that all my blocks are connected back again.
Yep.
Because or else they're not going to go.
Okay, cool.
All right. Now we're going to get our purple block back again.
Yep.
Drag another one on and get it to say something else. So what do you think this fern might say in response to the big fern?
Oh, yeah. So maybe this one will say that there are many different types of ferns in New Zealand.
Awesome, because that's what we learnt from Scott, that there were heaps of different types. Okay, so I learnt that there are lots of different types of ferns. Now we learnt before that 2 seconds is really fast, so how long do you think we should get this one to run for?
That one's just slightly shorter than the one before, so maybe 5 for this one?
5? Cool. Awesome. I think we might add in one more fact, and then I've got a little trick as to something else that we can add in to make it even more exciting.
Okay, well that sounds interesting, yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Now we need, what's the first block that we need again?
We need a weight block again.
Weight block, absolutely. So go back down to control to my orange. Pull out that orange weight block, and how many seconds did we get the last fern to talk for?
So that was 5 seconds, the
5
last one.
seconds,
Yep.
so we'll add in a 5-second wait. And again, we're going back to looks, grabbing our purple say block, and dragging that and connecting it.
Cool.
So what is this fern going to say?
Well, how about it says, we need to look after our ferns?
We need to look after our ferns. Awesome. All right. Now I'm going to add one last thing onto our little fern,
Yep.
and then we'll run it through and see how it goes. So I'm going to add that control block again, the orange one, and I'm going to get it to weight. Now, did I change the weight on the other block? No.
No.
So how long do you think we should get this one to say for?
Oh, it looks a bit short. I reckon it's a 4-seconder, that one.
4 seconds, cool. And then so here, I've switched back to my little fern. I'm going to get it to wait 4 seconds as well. And then we grab out the purple looks, drag that on, and I'm going to say, yes, we need to be kaitiaki for our whenua. Awesome. Should we run it through and see what happens?
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool.
Today, we've been learning about how to be kaitiaki of our whenua. I heard that ferns are special to New Zealand. I feel I've said this before somewhere. I learnt that there are lots of different types of ferns. We need to look after our ferns. Yes, we need to be kaitiaki for our whenua.
Perfect.
Cool.
So that's basically a conversation between 2 different sprites or 2 different characters, and it's a really good way to show our learning and show our knowledge and share it with other people.
Cool, that was great.
Now what I'd like to do is I would like to add in one more sprite
Cool.
if I can find it.
Is this the exciting part you were telling me about? The extra
This is the exciting part.
Great.
So I'm going to put this milk carton into our ngāhere.
How dare you?
I know. Now it's quite big,
No.
so I'm going to change down the size over here on this button here. So I'm going to shrink it about 50%.
Cool.
And I'm going to just change the angle so it's kind of like it's lying down on the ground.
Yeah.
Cool. So what we can do as well is we could get the ferns to express their disappointment and how upset they are that there's actually a milk carton in the ngāhere. And then we could get the milk carton to disappear.
Oh, that sounds better.
Yeah.
Yes, great.
So what I'm going to do is add some more dialogue, some more conversation from the little fern. And I might say, oh no, what is that lying on the floor of the ngāhere? Oh. Ngāhere. Do you think that in a normal conversation the big fern would then respond with something?
Probably, yes.
Yep.
They'd be polite.
Cool. So I'm going to change this to 6 seconds again because
Yep.
that seems to be quite a good number. What do you think the big fern might say in response?
So I'd probably start with, oh, where?
Okay, cool. So let's add in another weight.
Ah, yes.
Block?
Yep.
Yeah, for that. Now, this is where it gets a little bit tricky because we have got the fern talking for 4 seconds and then 6 seconds.
Oh, no.
So how many seconds in total does the big fern need to wait?
Time to do some maths. 10 seconds.
10 seconds, all right. So we'll get to wait for 10 seconds and then we'll get it to say something. Oh, where?
So I'd be, oh, where? Somebody has dropped their rubbish.
Somebody has dropped their rubbish. Cool. I think the little fern might respond back with something, so I'm going to add another weight block. So you can see that weight is really important when we're creating that conversation between two different sprites and getting them to interact. So we need to code both of them to be able to work together.
Yeah, and that makes sense because when we have conversations between people, we don't just keep talking at the same time. We actually have to wait for the other person to speak, otherwise it's not the greatest conversation.
Exactly. I know that I've been told off for talking over the top of other people before.
Have you? I've experienced that, I think.
Okay, so I might get the little fern to say, that is not showing kaitiakitanga. Let me tidy that up. Cool.
Cool.
Alrighty, and we want that for longer than
Yeah.
2 seconds. Let's put that in for 6 seconds.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Cool. Alright, now let's see if it works.
Okay,
Are you guys ready?
back to the beginning.
Okay.
Today, we have been learning about how to be kaitiaki of our whenua. I heard that ferns are special to New Zealand. I learnt that there are lots of different types of ferns. We need to look after our ferns. Yes, we need to be kaitiaki for our whenua. Oh no! What is that lying on the floor of the ngahere? Oh, where? Somebody has dropped their rubbish. That is not showing kaitiakitanga. Let me tidy that up.
Cool. Awesome. Now what we need to do, the last step, is to code that milk carton to disappear.
Great.
Now we kind of need to figure out how long that we've been talking for
Oh no.
in order for it to work.
Okay.
So we spoke for 6 seconds,
Yes.
then we waited for 6.
12,
Then we spoke for 5,
17,
and then we waited for 4.
21,
Then we spoke for 4,
25,
and then we spoke for 6.
31,
Then we waited for 6,
37,
and then we spoke for 6.
43.
Awesome. So if we get this right, it means that we have absolutely nailed it.
Okay, and if we
Okay.
get this wrong, it means I'm terrible at maths.
Or we just need to go back and debug it.
Debug.
And it's
yes.
fine.
Oh yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
So I'm going to add in an event block when the start flag is clicked. And then we're going to wait for how long again?
43 seconds.
43 seconds. And then, this is the fun part, I'm going to go into looks and I'm going to try and find the hide block. Cool?
Okay.
Let's go.
Today, we have been learning about how to be kaitiaki of our whenua. I heard that ferns are special to New Zealand. I learnt that there are lots of different types of ferns. We need to look after our ferns. Yes, we need to be kaitiaki for our whenua. Oh no! What is that lying on the floor of the ngahere? Oh, where? Somebody has dropped their rubbish. That is not showing kaitiakitanga. Let me tidy that up. Oh, and it's gone.
Amazing, and
Look
it's gone.
at that.
And then all I need to do to make sure that it comes back for the next time is down here, you'll see that there's a show and a hide. So when the eye is clicked, it comes back. And when the
Cool.
line is through, it disappears. So if you can't find it again, that's just where it's gone.
Great.
Awesome. Cool. Well, I think that's all for today. We've made a really awesome story about looking after our whenua in the ngahere. And I'd like you guys to have a go at home.
Great. Well, ngā mihi nui, Alicia, that was great. And I definitely learned a lot about how to use Scratch with that as well. So I'm excited. I'm going to go and let Jessie know all about it. Kia ora.
Awesome. Ka kite.
Kia ora, Jess. Did you see how me and Alicia created a story which shows how we can look after our environment?
Yeah, I thought that was a really cool way for you guys to show your kaitiakitanga for the whenua.
Yeah, and it was actually really easy to do as well. In fact, I might give it a go when I get home.
You guys should have a go at it as well, show your whānau, and upload it to social media using this hashtag.
So that's it for now. Ka kite anō.
We'll see you again.